Good morning. It's Thursday morning here at Suzie Health Solutions in Wenatchee, your full-service enrollment center for the Washington Healthplanfinder.
Yay! Welcome to Suzie. There's Matt.
There's Suzie.
Hi.
Yeah, we are, we're actually on the eve of our first day off in, it'll be over 45 days.
No, we're not.
Well, next week. We won't be here. And that's important.
Huh?
Next week.
Well, yeah, we're going to take off.
Thanksgiving.
It's a week from today.
Yeah.
That's not an eve. Yeah. It's not even an atom.
It's an eve for me.
It's not.
Let me have my little belief so I can keep going forward.
Nah. So yes, we're taking Thanksgiving off, and we are not answering the phone, nor are we taking messages or responding to messages or even paying attention to the office at all.
Yes.
But that's the first day off we'll have had since
mid-October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've been running 7 days a week for a while.
Yeah. In October, we ran 6 days a week for the first part.
Yeah. And then we pulled in Sundays too because people needed us. So here we are.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about something important, and that's sincerity.
Sincerity?
Yes.
Because when you say sincerity, it doesn't sound very sincere.
Yeah. That's one of the things is the whole tone thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, not just tone, but, there's so much to it.
There is, and it's because we actually, one of the things that got me kicked on it was strangely enough the ad for Pendleton whiskey.
Yep, and he doesn't know why, but he said, he was watching this the other day, we were watching TV. I said, I don't like this ad, which is weird because normally, A, he doesn't pay much attention to ads, and B, booze ads have never bugged him before.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and the whole cowboy motif that is Pendleton is, it's something that's right up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, it should speak to him, but for some reason it didn't come across as sincere.
Yeah, I spent my formative years is wandering the hills of Okanagan. Mm-hmm. And then, I've done a bunch of ranch stuff. We've spent time in Pendleton.
We have. I actually like Pendleton very much.
Yeah. So it's up our alley. And it's just like looked at it, it's like, that's not sincere.
No, it seemed big and plastic and fakey.
Yeah. And it was just bizarre. And it's actually something that we've been kind of working on, with because one of our things we've done is we've done pretty much weekly ads for iFiber.
Oh yeah, that's true, and that's one of the things that you had to. When I first started, I was selling. I was up there and I was doing it. I was up there and I was pitching. I was very
Billy Mays.
I was acting.
Yeah, and
Matt had to point out that I was acting in an obvious manner. I wasn't being a very good actor, enough at all. But what we needed to do to convince you of our sincerity was to actually just relax and be human.
Yeah, it's talking with someone instead of at someone, and it is a skill that we had to work on. Because it was one of those things that you get ingrained in. It's like, coffee's for closers. That mentality.
No, coffee is to keep me alive right now.
Yeah. But one of the things early on, actually over 20 years ago, was someone said it's the most dangerous thing for a salesman is to have the eye of the tiger.
Okay, because it makes them look desperate. Yeah,
it reeks of desperation, and you lose credibility.
Yeah, because when we've got that desperation, you're I don't know, do you lose sincerity at that point?
Yeah, because that desperation is you're focused on doing the close, the sale, instead of I'm helping this person, I'm assisting this person. And that was one of the things that really ticked me off this week, because we've been working just like dogs.
Oh yeah,
7 days a week. We've when we announced our schedule, we've had some peers say, just don't burn out.
That's fair. And
It
that's a fair fear.
It is, because we it is. I wouldn't push this schedule onto someone else.
No. If I were an employee, I wouldn't do this.
Oh yeah.
No.
I'd have to say it depends, because hourly employee, I'm just like, oh yeah, give me the cash. There's a certain level of me. A certain level of me has done that more than once. I've worked holidays. I've pulled shifts. I volunteered for shifts because of that. So I can't say.
The thing is, it's not all about the money.
Sometimes it is, but that's
either way,
my little heart.
If it were me, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, there's a certain point where you're like, no. I think it was about week 3. But it was. We had a Medicare person come to us this last week saying that they were pushed off from another agency.
Mm-hmm. That was a shame.
And it was like, okay, because we've been steadily, our schedule has been pretty tight for about 2 weeks now.
Right. So we've been adding in a little bit here, a little bit there, expanding some hours, throwing in, giving more opportunities, and they're getting snapped up.
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't that we were shoehorning. It's like, okay, yeah, this person went short. Let me call this person and work on their case. And we've been kind of shoehorning people in. But someone coming to us with the final straw saying that this other agents group didn't have time for them. Mm-hmm. It was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And it's like we Suzie and I got together. It's like, okay, we'll open earlier, we'll close later, in addition to the 7 days a week. Because Medicare closes on the 7th of December.
Right. So we're going to have extended hours till then, and then we'll see what happens.
And this is an important thing for Sincerity. Mm-hmm. Is actions lining up with words.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Because that's one of the things we've always stressed is the importance of action, and the importance of follow through. It's why when someone gets introduced to our agency, they get what seems like a bazillion emails and texts. Mm-hmm. Because we want them to be aware that we do so much more. Mm-hmm. And that is sincere. We've had a few people that have negatively responded to it because they really aren't used to that.
Right. Well, the reason, if we weren't so genuine when we meet with people, that would come across as insincere. Mm-hmm. But we're sincere people when you meet with us face to face or on the phone. And people get that sense from us. And so when we send out the additional, hey, this is who we are texts, it doesn't seem quite as disingenuous.
Yeah, because that message is lining up. And it's important if you're a small business that your messages line up with your actions.
Absolutely.
It is important when you hire advertisers that your
keep your message lined up.
Your message has got to be lined up on how it's presented.
Your advertising, if you're working with an advertising agency or an advertising specialist, then you need to make sure that their values line up with yours, so you all have the same message. So the message comes across sincerely. Yeah. In a legitimate, honest to God, this is who I am manner. Mm-hmm. That's not too much to ask.
It's not too much to ask, but it's one of those things that's kind of a lost form. It's I look at other sites, mm-hmm. constantly looking at their advertising and what they're putting out, and it's like, okay, is this something that's corporate wash, mm-hmm. or is this coming from an actual person?
That's it, exactly.
And it's really getting important these days.
Yeah, I think people don't respond to corporate ads trying to be individuals because it doesn't feel legit.
Well, it's actually it was less than a week ago we did Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And there's this people that go through the motion.
Yeah.
And there's a certain lack of sincerity there. Me being I am a veteran, and there's a certain okay, whatever, buddy.
The whole thank you for your service stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that; it's the false patriotism.
Oh, okay, I'll buy that.
Because it's really not sincere. It's the hey, I'm gonna fly my flag on the back of my pickup truck, but I'm not gonna follow the flag regulations.
No, I'm gonna have a marked up flag with the blue stripe or this stripe or that stripe, and then get all mad at people for kneeling during kneeling for the national anthem.
I don't care if they get mad at the kneeling.
Well, I'm just showing that's the hypocrisy.
That's the hypocrisy. I'm looking at the sincerity.
Okay.
And it's like let's ignore the hypocrisy for now. Let's just focus on sincerity. Okay. If you love the flag, why don't you follow the flag regulations?
Yeah, follow it properly.
And you mentioned it's like I bet that because we've seen the worst examples of driving from some of the individuals in the trucks flying the flags. It's like I bet they don't get pulled over.
Yeah, I see. My thought was sometimes they drive poorly. What we're finding, at least around town, is some of the drivers who have these giant flags hanging off the back of their trucks are obnoxious. They drive aggressively, unsafely, very loud, very fast, and illegally in many ways. And they're running with the theory that they're not going to get pulled over because their local police officers are on their page.
So that's something we'd like to really find out about if someone's in law enforcement to please chime up. It's like, oh yeah, we pull these guys over regularly, or no, we never pull them over. I would love to know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to find out. We have people who can investigate that.
Yeah, we do have people that investigate that, but it's like, okay, do they follow with poor driving? One of the things we've been working on is telemetrics.
Okay.
For auto insurance.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of carriers do it. It's gone from the plug into the car to having a program on your cell phone.
Yes, I've seen that. I think that's interesting. What that does, it measures your starts and your stops and your speed, and if you are driving within acceptable parameters, you get a reduced rate.
Yes,
at least that's the theory.
But the three, our trainer told us there are three prime things it looks at.
Okay,
it's the rapid acceleration.
Yes.
The rapid deceleration, and the time of day driven.
Really, time of day.
Yes, those are the three. That's your
So your secret sauce for the day.
Your secret sauce.
So if you work graveyard, you're.
I don't know.
We don't know.
He didn't tell me.
That's the super secret sauce.
What the weight of that is.
Yeah, interesting. Because it stands to reason if you're driving if you're driving at night, you've got the chance to, hit livestock. If you're driving in the day, there's more cars on the road. There's a whole set of algorithms back there, aren't there?
Yeah, and that's one of those important.
Darn those underwriters!
Dang those underwriters! Yes, because they look at what is going on and then they adjust accordingly. They look at the sincerity of the issue versus the perception of the issue.
Yes.
So yeah, sincerity is just a massive. Well, how does this work? And one of the things that in this last election cycle that queued up on, and I asked, because we've got one of our local guys that nerds out on it, a lot heavier than me. I asked them what the county race was for, what was the percentage of young people that voted?
18 to 35 was your metric.
18 to 35, because there was a large turnout, and I had a friend share that, and I'm like, well, what's the
breakdown?
What's the breakdown of that? And the 18 to 35, because I think we came in at 68%.
Almost 68%,
Yeah,
which is an amazing turnout
which
for a
is a
mid-year,
huge percentage.
for an off-year election.
However, there were a few really unqualified candidates that won.
Yeah. Well, one specific one, but I'm not going to name names.
Because of Sincerity. We look at Sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
And the wonderful thing about being young is Sincerity kind of goes through. But the young voter turnout, the 18 to 35, was only at 40%.
I thought you said it was lower than that.
It in some there was.
Oh, depends on where you're at.
Yeah, depends on where you're at.
But 40%'s not awesome.
It's really low. And
is it even low for a off-year election? For a non-presidential election?
It was on the lower side.
Okay.
Compared to everything else, it was really on the low side. Particularly when they were looking overall and across the country, that demographic was a large turnout.
Okay, so our local area was a low turnout.
But
nationally, it was a high turnout.
Yes.
Huh. What's wrong with our local situation?
Well, it's there. I can't remember who the comedian was. That was out encouraging the vote. It's like, hey, y'all need to make voting cool again. You need to throw parties. You need to go out and vote for good qualified politicians, and you need to throw a party with your friends.
Was that Fluffy Iglesias?
Could have been Iglesias that did that one.
I remember now.
But it was important. It was the sincerity behind it. It's like, okay, and we can see the results of no one that is promoting that. You can promote, hey, I'm going to do these wonderful, wonderful things. But if you're not exciting the people, you will never get to do those wonderful things.
Well, there you go.
Which it's one of those things, and we kind of talked about it yesterday on hiring. Yeah, because we're not the richest. We share.
No. Yes, we're not the richest. Well, where we were talking about, we can't. If we want our business to grow, we're going to have to bring in another person to handle or be a producer or be a customer service rep or something. If we're going to keep this,
if we're going to keep the pace that we're doing,
if we're not going to, overshoot ourselves, and that's cool. And we'd like to have that. So we're creating a culture where a person can be part of our team rather than just an employee. Yeah. Somewhere to bring your kids to hang out after school kind of thing. A nice, a welcoming space for family, which is something we've always encouraged.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we built into. We really made it a family business because we had family space. Yes. And when there was downtime, we did family things together.
Right. And we still do. It's just harder now that our kid's 16 because he doesn't necessarily want to hang out with us so much. But that's not the point. The point is I lost my point.
Well, one of the things is we're part of one of the Facebook groups that we're part of is the insurance. So there's over 44,000 agents. If you're a licensed insurance agent, I expect you should check it out.
And whatever you do not try to sell anything.
Yes, we will laugh at you, poke fun at you because that's not the place to do it. If you're a district manager, corporate shill, you'll get kicked out.
Banned with prejudice.
Yeah. So but one of the important things is stressed in that environment and some of the other subgroups of it, which we're members of, is the culture.
Yeah, back to the culture.
And you can't build a culture without sincerity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Otherwise, it's just a veneer that's once you get into it, it's like, well, you told me all this and you lied.
You lied to me.
And then people quit.
Or they're just complete mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the first moment they get, they're grabbing as much information or materials and heading out the door like it's some heist.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you never want to do that.
No, we want people to work with us, not for us.
And one of the clients I talked to was a young guy over on the coast, and it was our focus. And I told him, it's like, yeah, we treat everyone well.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be our customers 50 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep that 50-year concept, you will always treat someone well with duration. You can still say, yeah, this area is wrong, because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because people come to us with some crazy notions.
Yes.
Some just absolute crazy notions on how insurance works, on how what their drunken uncle Bubba Joe told them. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, Bubba Joe, bless his little heart, keep him on the back porch, mumbling to himself. He is not licensed insurance agent.
Well, and then we've got what we also ran into is people who were licensed, either new licensed insurance agents that have been in the industry for 30 years, and they know the old school version, which is way different than what's going on right now.
Well, particularly with health.
Oh, yes.
But I'm seeing, a lot of difference with the property as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things. It's like, yeah, we sat at the insurance table for over, a decade.
Yeah.
Watch how it's played, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna put together the property.
Yep. We're cool about that.
And
we're very excited about that. You should hear Matt talk about it. It's just super awesome.
Well, it's that learning curve that I didn't have the first couple times.
Yeah,
around.
you were not properly trained the first time around.
But there's other things. So we work with a lot of agents locally. Mm-hmm. We had one in yesterday, and we've had a couple producers, but this is the first agency owner, and I told him straight up, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And it was the this is one of my peers, is someone I respect. This is someone I bought insurance from. Mm-hmm. And I could see kind of the terror in his eyes.
You really want to be talking about this on our podcast?
Yeah, we'll talk a little, because it is sincere.
Yeah, it's true. It's legit. And we felt, and Matt was, because we like this person and we respect them, Matt felt bad that we were scaring him.
Yeah, because it's truthful, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna compete in some areas with you, but not. Mm-hmm. Because they're a captive agent, so they're limited to the product line that they run.
Yep, and they've done well with it.
They've done really well, and they treat their customers really well.
Exactly, which is why we went with them in the first place.
Yeah, and I will never speak bad about Jake and his agency.
Not at all. Not ever.
That was one of the points that I brought my 16-year-old son to, so that he could hear a different perspective, different than myself, when it comes to driving and auto insurance. Cool. I wanted that professional education on top, with mine, so that he could form his own opinion. Mm-hmm.
And he's actually, being a 16-year-old young man, he's opinionated as all get out.
Yes. And sometimes it's important to have that outside perspective that is valid and that you respect, install that with him, because it's one of those things that I feel important. It's the old concept of fostering.
Okay.
And that's been kind of lost. The closest thing that we get lip service for now is mentoring or coaching.
Okay.
But fostering was you did it at a younger age.
Yeah, like your apprentice.
Yeah.
Apprenticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even apprentice has been taken out of the kid stage and into the adult stage.
Well, that's because child labor is not okay. I mean, that's what that's all about. You can't expect children to, 10-year-olds to go, go apprentice at a
can't make horseshoes for me or something like that.
No.
Well, see,
I mean, the thing is, if it's a family situation, then maybe Junior wants to be a farrier with Dad.
Uh-huh.
But you can't just sell off your kid to the local blacksmith.
Let's see, that's one of those things that's like, having kids with those skills is important.
Right. And because we're not in medieval times, we have to do it in a different direction. And that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing. Slave labor, not good. Indentured servitude, not good.
What's that? Fringy law of 342, I think it was.
What? Indentured servitude bad?
No. Exploitation begins at home.
Oh, yeah, there is that. Yes. Well, why do you think so many farmers had large families?
Mm-hmm. Because that was the first.
Free labor.
That was also the first Social Security.
Oh, yeah, your kids. Yeah. There's nothing. Not arguing that.
No, you can't. They didn't have access to birth control. That was another one.
There was, but there was.
When was the pill?
Okay, not talking about the pill. I'm talking about you just could have not had sex. There was a whole abstinence. Birth control has always been an option.
Yeah, but.
Okay, that's a whole nother podcast.
That is a whole other podcast. But that was one of the things is talking about sincerity. Is your business, is your home life, is your relationship, are you being sincere? Are you seeing the little nerdy side of you?
Uh-huh.
One of the things that we're doing is we're giving away the Die Hard Advent calendars.
Yes, very cool. It's very nerdy of us.
It's very nerdy of us.
Not everybody gets it, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
But the people who do are loving it.
Yeah, but you don't get that if you're completely corporate washed out.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because that's not corporate sponsored stuff.
Yeah,
you get a corporate branded mug.
Yeah,
or a water bottle. It's the water bottles these days.
Yeah, it is the water bottles these days, and it is something that last year was Mike McCormick mentioned a couple times. It's like, don't always be giving away your corporate stuff, because the minute they see a brand like that, they instantly associate, oh, this is a sales thing.
Yeah. Okay. Don't give away the house, but be.
Well, not everything has to be branded.
No, but but just recently he was talking about be branding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But be brand yourself.
Yourself.
Not everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yourself has got your brand, self brand has got to be sincere.
That's your ASMR for the day.
It's like, we're not going to show up with a little enamel Suzie Health Solutions pen.
True.
On our lapel.
Well, no, because I don't wear lapels.
We might show up with a Suzie Health Solutions hoodie.
Or t-shirt.
Because that's...
I like the enamel pins, though. I put them on my carry bag. My computer bag.
Yeah. But
that's not my identity.
That's not your identity. That's your little nerdiness.
That's my little nerdiness. Yeah, that's one of my little collections.
So yeah, that's important. So look around you. Look at being sincere. Uh-huh. Look on who's with you.
Yes.
And this is one of those important things, and I can't stress this enough. In the whole sincere thing, is everyone around you look the same?
But you got cookie cutter people?
Do you got cookie cutter people around you, or are you, because that's when you're a cookie cutter person.
Yeah. Are you being sincere?
Are you being sincere? Are you, if you're saying, hey, yeah, I'm multicultural, or hey, yeah, I embrace diversity.
Are you actually?
Are you actually?
There you
Are
go.
the people around you diverse? Are
your actions diverse?
Are your actions diverse? So take a hard look at yourself. See what you can adjust. If you're a police officer that says, yeah, we pull over jerks and trucks all the time, let us know.
Yeah, we're very curious.
We're very curious about that one.
All right, well, we're going to wind it up. Thanks so much for joining us on Suzilla today. Actually, we will not talk to you next Thursday because next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
It's our 1 day off.
Yes.
Well, we're going to have 2 days off this year, but
we're taking Christmas Day.
We're taking Christmas, so yeah. It's just on a Sunday.
But it's also after the enrollment period. So that's another point. All right.
So, hey, have a good one.
Hasta luego.